Today we're looking at another drafting book for January pants drafting month here at J. Stern Designs. I'm going to be working with the Don McCunn How to Make Sewing Pattern book for my second pattern draft. Last week I finished up the Jan Minot method of pattern drafting. I'm going to sew that muslin up and I'm going to compare it to the other two methods that I'm sharing this month. So I want to try different methods that are different. I'm excited to work with the Don McCunn book because he has a little bit of a different slant on how to achieve the shapes in the pants draft. He starts in the center of the leg and he does the thing that I shared during my bottom-up pants fitting video, which I'll put a link to in the description below. He starts by drawing a waist to floor measurement and then an inseam to floor or floor to inseam measurement. So those are the two markings that start this draft. And I just want to show you here. Oh, and by the way, stay till the end because I'm going to share all my favorite pens and pencils I like to draft with. I replenished my whole collection because you'll notice the lines on this draft are looking a little worn because I'm wearing out my pens. All right, so let's just see here. So I'm just going to show you the top part of this pattern here. And this is the front leg. The first horizontal line that's drawn on this pattern is the thigh line. This is a different approach than Jan Minot's method. There was no thigh line on that method. So I thought that was very interesting. And basically it's there as a guide and then it's lengthened to help draw the inseam. And on the side seam, you lose almost a like amount with my measurements. I'm sure the shapes are very different depending on your personal measurements, but this green section right here is what I had to add because you wanted the thigh to be equal to the tip of the crotch here. So I thought that was interesting. And then over when we drafted the side seam, you follow the hip curve down and it cut off a little bit of the thigh. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Another thing that's unique about this draft is when you do the waist and you went up and after you did the thigh, the hip line, you drafted the waist on top of your vertical line you drew and you put 1/8 of the waist to the left and right of center, 1/8, so a quarter total. But he uses the hip measurement to help you figure out the waist. And I thought that was very interesting. I compared it to my Jan Minot draft, and the length of the waistline is almost identical to this draft. And in the Jan Minot method, you use your waist measurement. You don't use anything else. But in this method, you use the quarter hip measurement to help finalize the full length of your waistline. So this is a very interesting method. I'm going to be sharing the complete draft, how to do this, on Friday live during FabFit Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching this later, I will go back and put the link to the live in the description so you can get right to it. But it's going to be very exciting. I love drafting. Now I have a couple tips that will help you. The first one is make a chart that's easy to follow. See how this is nice and easy? I did my circumference, I added ease, and then I got my half front and back so I wouldn't have to go back and forth on my messy measurement page that I printed out of the Jan Minot book. I made a neat chart and I'm going to use the same measurements for all my drafts. So that's a really good tip. I have a place to put notes and then I'll update my chart on the computer so it's nice and neat in the end. So I have a good record of what I did. The other thing is you're spending a lot of time measuring and drawing and all of these things. So I feel like you need some satisfying things to draw with. I I mean, a regular old pencil is great. And as a matter of fact, that's probably my preferred pencil because I'm very aggressive when I press down. And I really didn't think mechanical pencils were for me, even though they're much more convenient because you don't need a pencil sharpener. But then I found these Bic Velocity pencils. And this one comes with 2 mega erasers and 4 regular size erasers. But I will tell you, I'm going to open this up and just show you here. Oh, I'm so excited. And look at this. It's got a rubber grip here. This is the standard size right here. And again, the standard size pencils have a little plastic cover so you don't keep advancing your ink. And I just want to show you here, it makes a really nice line. And I can press down hard and I can get a really nice line. And then if I want to erase, you know, obviously I can erase. So I really do like these Velocity Bic pencils because they're comfortable to hold and they stand up to my pressure when I draw, because I'm very aggressive, I guess, when I draw. And then you've seen me use these guys right here. This is the Friction pen that has the separate cap. And the reason why I like that is the tip of the, you know, this tip is an eraser, which I can also use it to erase my pencil marks, right? But if I want to draw, you can see this pen is starting to wear out because I've used these pens to death. But happily, my daughter found me an entire new pack. So I have a brand new pack of these stem pens from Friction. Love them. You can also draw on fabric and then erase it with an iron. But see how nice they erase? So if you don't want the messiness of a pencil, you know, this is really nice because it erases really well. And it's just very, very cool. So my last thing I like to draft with are the good old-fashioned Sharpie markers. Now this makes a bolder line than the pencil or the Friction pen, but the way I use these is when I'm drafting or if I'm, you know, if I'm tracing a pattern to cut out, when I cut out the pattern, I cut in the middle of the thicker line, and that way I know I'm right there. So you can see the Sharpie marker has a thicker line, but again, I'll cut in the middle of that line to get an accurate, you know, result. Plus, when I'm teaching on live, I feel like the Sharpie markers are easier to see sometimes on your screen. So I use Sharpie markers when I'm on screen, but I also like the fact that they bleed through if I want to transfer like darts and stuff like that to the other side or from my traced copy to my new copy. Very good to have. So those are my 3 favorite things to draft with for writing. And of course, I feel like I talk about these rulers not enough. This is a very inexpensive grid ruler. It's 18 inches long, and I love it because it's got 1/8 inch markings. It's got 1/16 of an inch on the end. It's a plain old ruler on this side, and it's just really, I think, the easiest thing to draft with. So if you don't have one of these 18-inch grid rulers, I think it's a great investment for, you know, drafting patterns. And then, of course, just I can't finish up without saying having some sort of French curve is also really helpful. They come in different sizes, so Veriform makes, you know, the French curve. I mean, Fairgate, these are Fairgate rulers. Well, that's a Fairgate ruler. This is also a Fairgate ruler. They come in different sizes. Or if you don't want the big, you know, metal rulers, you can get curves, French curve sets in plastic like this that are very reasonably priced, and they do the trick. But it really helps you get a nice line when you're trying to draw a curve. So this is really all I use for my drafting, and I'm having such a great time. So if you're interested in learning how to draft pants, check the link below for the Jan Minot method that I did last Friday. And I just want to have one note on that. I thought initially I was going to draft in half scale because it'd be easier for you to see the full pattern because it's smaller, but it got a little bit tedious to keep track of all those measurements and then remember to half them for half scale. So if you're going to watch the Jan Minot method live, I screwed up on my grain line when I shifted it because I didn't half the amount that I had to move the grain line towards the center line. And then when I went to fix it, I couldn't think of that because I was live and I was having a mini panic in my head. Then I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. But then I backed it up about half the measurement to make it work. Like I could visually see what it was supposed to look like because I had already drafted the front leg. And then when I got off my live, I realized, oh, because I didn't half my 7/8 because I was working with a half scale pattern. So going forward, I am not going to do half scale anymore. This is a full size draft, you can see. And I think it's just for getting this stuff done and getting it done accurately, I am going to work full scale. That's not to say that half scale is not a super valuable tool. If I'm drafting things for myself and I'm, taking my time and I'm working and it's, something I want to try on my half scale ditto form, I'm definitely going to do half scale. I think it's very valuable. But for this series going forward, everything's going to be full scale just so I'm not confusing or, I want to make sure I convey the information to you as clearly as possible. So getting rid of that, converting everything to half scale, and then remembering to convert the instructions to half scale. Not going to be doing that anymore. So anyway, that is my little cool tool for today is the Don McCunn How to Make Sewing Pattern book and all of my my favorite drawing tools. If you have any questions or comments, please post those below and I will help you. If you need a copy of Don McCunn's book, there is an Amazon affiliate link in the description below. If you're enjoying my content, consider liking and subscribing to my channel because it helps me grow. And I want to thank everybody for following along with me. I really appreciate it. I have so much fun. And I have to tell you, when I get on live on Fridays and you come and join me, it just really makes my week. And I just love sharing how to do various things on FabFit Friday. And I look forward to it every week. So if you come to FabFit Fridays live 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, thank you so much. I want you to know I appreciate you. And if you catch the replay, I also appreciate you because I know it's in the middle of the workday and, catching the replay and then answering all of your questions after the fact is also a lot of fun for me. So drop your questions below, comments. I love to hear from you. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day.